You have your supplemental report in front of you that Mr. Shark gave you by any chance?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the jurors some of them may not understand this. In law enforcement, some may not. So I just want to ask you some questions about reports, okay?
Yes, sir.
You testified already. You made it clear that report writing is something that you studied, you were taught, and you know it from your 30 years of experience. It's critical, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's critical because people rely on what you do, right?
The characterization about people lying.
Overruled.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Because you're doing the work, and then later, people like Ms. Love and the Honorable...
Objection, Your Honor, as to any reference to...
Overruled.
It's not relevant. People like Ms. Love and...
What's your question going to be?
Prosecutors rely on what you do, right?
Yes, sir.
And oftentimes, they're not with you when you're doing it.
Yes, sir.
And people like me who represent people charged with crimes, we rely on what you do. We read your reports. You know that, right?
Yes, sir.
Judges like the Honorable Judge Whitaker listens to things that you say from reports, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And
pay attention to the rhythm that this boy using. He back to back in it, no pause. Watch this. He heating up.
And through that process, you want to make sure that you dictate, that you put into your reports everything you can that you did in the case. That's material, correct?
Yes, sir.
In fact, at the bottom of each report, you have to sign and you take an oath and you swear, right?
Yes, sir.
That the report is true, correct?
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Legible.
Yes, sir.
And complete.
Yes, sir.
And that's what you did in this case.
Yes, sir.
And you tell the jurors and you put in all the details of what you did, whether it was negative, positive, or whether it had to get further investigation or not. You put it into the reports, right?
Yes, sir.
Because you want to be fair to everybody and explain to them what you do, right?
Yes, sir.
What you do is important.
Yes, sir.
Pay attention to how Steele say, right? With that type of right, it's going up, insinuating that it's right. That's a trick. That's a dirty move.
By not putting in anything, because there's no mention, and if there is a mention, just tell me I missed it. There's no mention of getting the McDonald's video in your report. Am I true?
Yes, sir. You're right.
And there's no mention of getting the video of what we're calling the green store, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're going back approximately 9 years, 8 years, 9.5 years, whatever the date is, to your memory of when you went to the McDonald's, right?
Yes, sir.
But you can't remember who you spoke with at the McDonald's, right?
Yes, sir.
And to be fair to you, are you telling this jury on your oath that McDonald's told you that the day before or 2 days before, we don't have that video?
Your Honor, objection as to the question. It was asked and answered, and to
Overruled.
ask if he's telling him under oath, it's meant to harass and embarrass.
Well, overruled.
Got him.
Okay, what was that, sir?
You're relying on your memory, right?
Yes, sir.
And your memory, I'm not trying to argue how good or bad your memory is, but the reason you write the reports is so you have something contemporaneous, meaning at the time, right?
Yes, sir.
That's why you bring your notepad, correct?
Yes, sir.
And in your notepad that you brought with you to the McDonald's, right?
Yes, sir.
And you wrote down who you spoke with, right?
Yes, sir.
You got a telephone number in case you had to follow up, correct?
Yes, sir.
You saw their videos to ensure that they were correct, right?
Yes, sir.
Because you're not going to take somebody's word for it, because they could be telling you the truth, but they could be mistaken, right?
Yes, sir.
And you have all that information in there, right?
Yes, sir.
You might have even taken the video that they had, right?
Objection, Your Honor. That
Overruled.
assumes facts not in evidence, and that question was asked and answered regarding the video.
Sustained as asked and answered.
Get back in rhythm, bruh.
The notes, though, that you keep those as backup in case there is something inadvertently or intentionally left out of your supplemental report, right?
Yes, sir.
But in this particular case, for whatever reason, those notes have vanished, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, do you remember testifying in a case. Do you know who the Honorable Judge Ellerby is
Yes, sir.
in this courthouse? Another judge?
Yes, sir.
Powerful like Judge Whitaker?
Yes, sir.
And do you remember testifying in a case, State of Georgia versus Brandon Kirkland, also
Your
known
Honor,
as Big
objection
Red?
as to relevance.
Overruled.
I don't know what the relevance might be, so I can't
It-
rule on that.
Your Honor, this is a whole other.
Why don't we approach?
Nah, that's relevant. That's overruled, baby. She just trying to throw a monkey wrench in, y'all. She ain't even know what she objected for, really. She just tried to throw a monkey wrench in, bro. That was relevant. Yeah. Eat up, still.
Do you remember testifying in or about April 7th, 2016 before the Honorable Judge Ellerby in this courthouse in State of Georgia versus Brandon Kirkland, also known as Big Red,
Whoa.
Jonathan Kirkland, also known as Prue, P-R-U.
Whoa.
Yes, sir.
And you're on the same oath that you're under today. Fair to say?
Whoa.
Yes, sir.
And do you remember the prosecutor in that case being Miss Love?
Oh.
Yes, sir.
And do you remember under questioning by the Honorable Maxwell Shart in that case?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember explaining that your notes were also not around? Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
And do you remember explaining that once an arrest is made by you, you shred your notes?
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now,
Still cheating. Oh, that's why they wanted to hide this witness. Man, can somebody find me that case? Gee whiz.
in this case, you didn't shred your notes. You can't find them. Is that true?
Correct.
All right. Now, what is
Oh, is that proper procedure? Is that protocol? Hold on. Shredding notes. That's Brady automatically, ain't it? Wow. Shredding?
refurbishing notes mean? Is that
No,
Refurbishing?
refurbishing notepad.
Okay, so
reusing the same notepad.
so instead, if you're right,
What? No, that's not. You refurbishing. You use a notepad till there's no more loose leaves, no loose pages. It's filled. It's not called refurb. How do you refurbish a note? What?
writing about your and my going to lunch on Notepad, but then you're going to do another day that you're going to eat lunch with the Honorable Keith Adams, you would rip up the parts that you met with me so you have a refurbished, a clean Notepad to talk about when you went to lunch with Mr. Adams. Is that what you're saying?
No, basically, I take a new notepad and I may use it as a notepad as I'm assisting another detective who is the lead. So, or I'm going out on a suicide or a kidnapping or anything death-related investigation. So I'll just use that notepad instead of taking a brand new one
Sure.
and using that one.
Aha. Aha. Sure.
So the empty sheets is what you're saying.
Correct.
Okay. And what do you do with the sheets that you wrote about notes on this case? That's the shred?
On this case, I didn't do anything with those. I just can't find the notepad itself.
This case was preserved, but it
Okay.
vanished.
Okay, talking about the Kirkland case.
No, talking about our case today
Okay.
that you're sworn under.
Okay.
That's the one that vanished. You can't
Correct.
find it. Okay.
Correct.
Donovan Tom.
Now, I want to talk with you. Since we don't have the notes, you didn't give those notes to the district attorney's office, correct?
No, sir.
All right. So,
This happened with Vasquez early in the trial, too. Y'all remember? Remember? Benton, Vasquez, and Quinn. And remember about the deleted message recording? And then when they asked Quinn, he said they don't never delete it, but they don't know what it, you feel me? Certain ones is missing, though. Come on, baby.
all we have to go on, all the jury has, is your memory that we don't have that recording for the McDonald's, right?
Yes, sir.
Same question for the Green Store, just your word.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, with regards to questions that you asked on redirect examination by Miss Love that there were certain people in this case that you charged with murder on or about October 20th, 2015. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
And one of those people was Mr. Sledge. It came out, right?
Yes, sir.
One of those people was Mr. Copeland, correct?
Yes, sir.
And do you remember stating that you're aware that the district attorney's office did not charge the offense of murder of Donovan Thomas to Mr. Sledge? You aware of that? You remember those questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And same with Mr. Copeland. They didn't
Yes, sir.
charge him with that either. You never charged Jeffery Williams with murder of Donovan Thomas. Fair to say?
Yes, sir.
You never charged Jeffery Williams with any crimes. Fair to say?
Yes, sir. Fair to say.
You know the district attorney's office hasn't charged Jeffery Williams with the murder of Donovan Thomas.
Well, actually, I'll let him go with that one. I thought he was going to ask a different question. I withdraw the objection.
All right.
You're aware of that, correct?
Okay, repeat that again, sir.
Sure. You're aware that the district attorney's office through the grand jury did not charge Jeffery Williams with the murder of Donovan Thomas. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, do you have any information that you can share with the jury that Jeffery Williams was in possession of the Infiniti rental car, gray, from Hertz on January 9th of 2015?
Nothing that I discovered. No, sir.
Same question for the next day, January 10th of 2015. Any information you could share with this jury that Jeffery Williams was in possession of that same rental Infiniti vehicle?
No, sir. Not on my investigation. No, sir.
January 11th. You realize that's the day it's returned?
Yes,
You
sir.
don't remember? Okay. Do you have any information to share with this jury that Jeffery Williams...
Your Honor, as it relates to this portion regarding the objection about the scope, I would object that it goes beyond.
Sustained.
I have no other questions.
All right. Very briefly, Ms. Love.
Thank you. And Detective Thorpe, I know nobody in here believes that I'm going to be brief, but I really am going to be brief. With respect to what Mr. Steele just asked you about not putting anything else of value into the report or leaving anything out, did you put in your report that you took gunshot residue samples off Kenneth Copeland's hands at the time that you interviewed him?
I believe I didn't.
You did not?
I believe I did. I can't recall.
Could you please look at your report and see if it refreshes your memory?
What page would you be looking at, ma'am? I'm sorry.
Just
Hell no.
the page where you talk about your January 10th, 11th rather, interview with Kenneth Copeland.
All right.
That boy removed his reading glasses to read.
Jurors, I'm going to remind y'all, if there's some time like this where there's a pause when a witness is looking at something or looking for something and y'all feel the need to stand up and stretch, please feel free to do that, okay?
Recall whether you did a gunshot residue test on Kenneth Copeland's hands.
Yes, I did.
How do you know that you did?
By the video.
Okay.
I believe it was on the video.
What?
And was that something substantial that you considered during your investigation that you did
Yes, ma'am.
gunshot residue?
Yes, ma'am.
Why didn't you put it in your report then?
Just overlook.
Okay. Now, did you put in your report
I thought she said she was
all of
quick.
the information that you included or that you asked Kenneth Copeland about in your interviews with him?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you put every piece of information in the report that you talked to? And when I say every piece, I mean, did you put every detail of your interview with Kenneth Copeland into your report?
No, ma'am. That's why the video is included and say refer to details from the video.
Did you put in your report that after you took gunshot residue from Kenneth Copeland's hands, that you resumed your interview with him?
No, ma'am.
Did you resume your interview with him at about 4:00 a.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, you were asked on recross by Mr. Sharp, I believe, whether Kenneth Copeland said after he got up, he went to the green store. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you put in your report exactly what Kenneth Copeland told you he did in chronological order after he got up?
No, ma'am.
Is it recorded on the video?
Yes, ma'am.
Did Kenneth Copeland tell you that after he got up, he left his girl's house and that his brother gave him his car?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he tell you that after he got up, he went and got a Band-Aid for his mouth?
Your Honor, objection. This is outside the scope of cross.
Your Honor, I'm asking information that Mr. Sharp pulled up regarding what Kenneth Copeland did after he got up. Mr. Sharp specifically asked him, did he tell you he went to the green store after he got up?
Overruled, but let's keep in mind that we're on redirect at this point. Ask if whatever the necessary few questions are, and let's be done with this witness.
Yes, Your Honor. On January the 11th, while you're talking to Kenneth Copeland, do you tell him exactly what time Mr. Thomas Jr. gets shot?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So do you have any way of getting from Mr. Copeland exactly how long it was before or after Mr. Thomas got shot that he actually got up from his girlfriend's house?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Steele asked you, at the time that you made the arrests in October of 2015, did you have the Hertz rental records that the DA's office were able to get?
No, ma'am, I did not.
And on recross, you were asked by Mr. Steele whether or not you charged Jeffery Williams with any crime.
No, I did not charge.
In October 2015.
No, I did not.
At the time that you took out those warrants in October 2015, did you know that Jeffery Williams had rented the gray Infiniti?
No, I did not.
I have no more questions.
You were asked about if your report included verbatim what Kenneth Copeland said to you in the interviews. Remember that?
Yes.
Okay, you didn't need to put what he said verbatim because it's on a video, right?
Correct.
You were asked about the gunshot residue. Whether you put that collection of the gunshot residue from Kenneth Copeland, whether you put that in your report, right?
Correct.
And you didn't because you didn't need to because that was on video, correct?
Correct.
All right, where is the video of you going to McDonald's and asking for surveillance?
Objection, Your Honor. that was asked and answered about the. There's
Overruled.
assuming facts, not in evidence
where's
about
that
a video.
Overruled.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't have a video of myself going into McDonald's.
Okay.
So that was never recorded on a video, or I did not do a digital audio recording of that either.
Cool. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Thank you. You are excused.
They let him slide. It could have
Another
been
witness
worse, y'all.
available?
Let me know in the comments what you think. So listen, they could have put more pressure on Holmes about what he did with Woody in the interrogation room. The defense let him slide and kept it focused. Let me know in the comments what you think about it for real. The way they carried it with him. Because they could have got a little bit stickier with Holmes.